I just bought this Ninja soup maker. It's been an eventful purchase, my first time buying refurbished from Ninja, and there's a whole other video about that. And the first time a domestic appliance has injured me twice during my testing. But is it any good at making soup? Let's find out. So this Ninja soup maker promises a lot. It says it will not only make soup, but also smoothies, milkshakes, sauces, jam and frozen desserts. And that's always a little bit of a red flag for me, because how many of those does it actually do well, and how many of them are crowbarred into the design? So just a quick note, if you're new to this channel, it's one of the few UK channels reviewing domestic appliances. So if you'd like to support that and you'd like to see more videos like this, please do hit the subscribe button. So first up with testing this machine was soup making. You can choose between smooth and chunky on this machine. There's a short recipe book included to start you off and a guide to building your own soup recipes. If you're new to soup makers, then the idea generally with these machines is that you can chuck all the ingredients in, switch it on, walk away and come back and you find you've got a lovely soup made for you for lunch. Unlike most conventional soup makers, the Ninja has the blade in the base. This is what gives it its multi-functionality. But as a design feature on a soup maker, I'm not a huge fan of it for a couple of reasons. The first one of which is that soup makers with the blade at the top have a flat bottom to the jug, which means you can take the lid off and easily stir the ingredients whilst they're sauteing. But on this machine, you can't do that. And I don't think it does as good a job of sauteing as a normal soup maker, so that compromises the flavour of what you're cooking. That aside, it is all a trade-off, and one of the benefits of having that blade at the bottom is that you can be a bit lazier with cutting stuff up because it has a chop function. So instead of dicing your onions, if you hate doing that like me, you can usually get away with chucking them in quarters and then letting the machine do the work for you. So making soup in this Ninja, whether it's chunky or smooth, takes about 30 minutes, which is 10 minutes longer than it took in my Morphy Richards soup maker, which actually had a larger capacity. So I haven't worked out why this one takes longer, except maybe it's because the glass jug doesn't hold the heat as well. So both smooth and chunky soup came out well in my test. You can make up to 1.4 litres of soup or warm liquids and 1.7 litres of cool liquids. Apparently, according to Google, 250ml is the recommended portion of soup for one person, but I think, to be honest, I normally eat closer to 350ml when I have it for lunch, so that would make this capacity suitable for 4 people. So I said I don't like having the blade at the bottom of the jug, and the second reason for that is because of cleaning. Now, to point out the obvious, you can't just put this jug in a sink full of water because it's got electrical connections on it. And I knew that cleaning the jug was going to be a problem when I saw that it came with this, because often special tools are actually a sign of a design flaw. And you can see how easily stuff gets stuck around the blades in this jug. But it does have a cleaning cycle, and you'll need to use that every time. Fill the jug with warm water, a small squirt of washing up liquid, and it takes 6 minutes to clean. After that, pour the liquid out, quick wipe around the top of the jug, and that should be enough. And what you don't do is stick your hand in the jug to try and clean it like I did. The bottom blades on this, which are the ones that are mostly hidden from view, are really sharp, and I managed to cut myself not once, but twice on them. So don't be an idiot, learn from me, keep your hands, and particularly your fingers, out of the jug. So beyond soups, you'll see an additional 6 functions on this machine. They are all what Ninja calls Auto IQ programs, which are intelligent programs that combine pulsing, blending and heating, and they can be used for the smoothies, desserts, frozen drinks, milkshakes, jam and sauce. There are also manual settings for blending and cooking, as well as pre-cook options for chop and saute. So I tried out a couple of the suggested sauce recipes. We did Alfredo pasta sauce and pizza topping, and it is a very useful additional feature to have as part of a soup maker. And I have to confess, I've never tried jam making before, but it was one of the features of the Ninja, so I decided to have a go. And the mixed berry recipe, which is included in the recipe book, was really straightforward, quick, and the results were fantastic. And my kids really enjoyed the novelty of taking actual real fruit and creating something that they've only ever seen in a jar before. So the promise with this machine is it's multifunctional, and I always live in hope that by buying a multitasking kitchen tool that it's going to replace more than one thing in my kitchen, because my cupboards are overflowing with appliances. And in particular, I had high hopes that this could replace my soup maker and my NutriBullet. And I tested it out with smoothies and the results were brilliant. So my NutriBullet can go now. However, any hopes that it might also replace my Ninja Creamy have been completely dashed, I'm afraid. Although it says it makes ice-cold desserts, it does not have a chilling function built in, and it does not have the big powerful blade of the Creamy. All it does is blend already frozen ingredients on a 1-minute program that you can then put in the freezer to chill further. I tried it out with pineapple and coconut sorbet that's in the recipe book, and despite sticking exactly to their recipe and using the tamper tool that they supply to push the ingredients down into the jug, the blender could not cut through the mixture, and I had to stop it several times and restart it because I was worried about the motor burning out. I did get a kind of lumpy frozen slop at the end of it, which was very tasty, but wasn't ice cream. So several people in reviews I have read online recommend the hot chocolate that this makes, and I can confirm if you want seriously indulgent hot chocolate, combining actual chocolate with cream and milk, this machine does an amazing job of chopping the chocolate, blending and heating. So, couple of negatives to mention about this appliance. I'm sorry, I'm going to start with the boring one. I mention it a lot on appliance reviews. The power cord is annoyingly short. I hate that manufacturers do this because it is such a penny pinching cost saver. Depending on the configuration of the sockets in your kitchen, this might be as frustrating as it has been for me. As a comparison, my old soup maker had a cord that was 1 metre 35 centimetres. On this, it's only 80 centimetres. And it's hardwired into the machine, so you can't just swap it out. Unsurprisingly, being a blender with a blade in it, it's noisy. It's noisy to a level where you have to pause conversations when it's working. But to be honest, it's no worse than the Creamy if you've experienced that, and it's no worse than our bean to cup coffee machine that we have. So the jug on this is made of very thick, strong glass, and as a result, it's heavy. And I do worry when I'm lifting it about the potential of breaking it, of kind of knocking it over or dropping it or something. But worst case scenario, if that happens, it's Ninja, which means they do sell replacements. And finally, it's a small thing which will either bug you or won't. But the beeps on this at the end of each program are exactly the same beeps that are on your Ninja air fryer. So if you have both, it can be a little bit confusing. So this soup maker and blender is versatile, and it offers opportunities to be creative with your cooking and maybe to try things that you have never thought of doing before. But equally, maybe you just want a soup maker that can be packed away in the cupboard and is an uncomplicated workhorse. There are loads of soup makers like that, and nearly all of them are less expensive than this one. In fact, there's a review of one of Amazon's most popular ones popping up on the screen right now. If you found this video helpful, please do give it a like. And as I say, if you want to see more appliance reviews for the UK market, then hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.